Get off to a little bit of a funky start with some funky music there for
There we go.
Big Casino Charles and myself, HRT Rich, on this hump day. How you feeling today, Charles?
All right, doing okay.
Doing all right? You ready to slog your way through what should be a really sunny, bright day down there in southern Florida, South Florida, Miami? What was it, Hallandale Beach where Gulfstream Park is?
Yeah.
Have you ever been there?
No, I have not.
Well, I'm going to be there in a couple of weeks, so we'll let you know when we're going to be there at Gulfstream Park. When you're there, make sure you stop in and say hi. I think we're going to be there Saturday, February the 4th or 5th. I forget which day that Saturday is, but we'll be there that Saturday. And that Wednesday before that, be at Tampa Bay Downs with Jamie and Willie and so forth. Be doing some behind-the-scenes work and put together some great content in 2023. We hope for it. Hope you're looking forward to it. I know we are. Last night, we had some more great content with Julie and Swiss Army Sean. Together, they had on Maddie Ulver, a very young jockey, getting started into business right now. Works really hard, passionate about what she's doing. And if you haven't had a chance to meet Maddie, make sure you head over to or hit the subscribe button while you're here. Check it out. It's another fun, entertaining show. She's got a lot of energy, laughing a lot. So kind of personality that's easy to root for, I would say, Charles.
Yeah, I saw the first probably 5 or 10 minutes of that show, and then I had to get called away. But yeah, you're right. I can see the energy there.
Yeah, she's working hard for sure. And then tonight, we're going to introduce you to another young person. We bring you everybody on Horse Center, from Hall of Famers like Mike Smith and, famous people both on and off the track like Chantel Sutherland, to newcomers like Maddie. And tonight's guest is going to be trainer TJ Aguirre. That'll be 8 o'clock tonight. If you have any questions for TJ, like, man, how do you get your hair to look just like that? I mean, that guy's got the hairdo right there, man. I tell you, if I were young and could pull that off, I would. The only problem is I can't grow any hair here. I mean, it just don't grow any hair. I don't have to shave but like once a week. It's a good thing and a bad thing, right?
That's right.
Good thing I don't live in one of those places where you have to have a beard. Otherwise, I'd be screwed.
Oh, yeah.
They would send me home. All right, Charles. So today we're going to do Gulfstream Park. The turf is firm. The track is fast. The all-weather is the all-weather. Good mix of races in here. A couple of scratches kind of change the way things look. Are you ready to get started with our hump day picks for Florida?
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Let's get rocking. Let's get rolling. Race number 1 is 1 mile and a 16th, right away out of the gates on that turf. It's claiming $20,000. The purse is $28,000. And Charles, the kind of horse that typically wins at that distance on the grass, well, 50-50 between the closer, stalkers, and speed types. So it's a fair track. And then when you look at the post positions, mostly fair as well. Does look like if you wear the number 2, money factor is out, you get a little bit of a bonus, or the 3, so the 2-3. So it looks like Lenny Kate and Silky Warrior might do all right, but they're all going to be chasing one horse for sure.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the one horse. Well, at least 50% chance that the horse is going to get the lead. So when it comes to that, you have a couple of horses. I think it's the 4 still in it, right? Yeah, the 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they might have a chance if the horse didn't get a great break, but it definitely looks like the one's going to pop that gate.
And then when it comes, mentioned the 4, that 4 looks like a hell of an overlay.
Yeah, look at that's what I was ready to say. When it comes to the bet, now there you go. The 4 is definitely an overlay, serious overlay.
Mm-hmm.
I even thought maybe I missed something, and I went back and looked at my picks and stuff. But yeah, that one's a serious overlay. You got the 1, a slight overlay, but yeah, those 2 right there are the obvious ones.
Yeah, just a quick recap of what this is. We do 1,000 simulations. For the odds, we use the horse's most recent speed figures, as many as we can get. And then we basically simulate 1,000 races and see how they would have played out. And then for the lead, we use the early pace numbers, simulate 1,000 races and see who would be on the lead at the quarter mile marker. And 50% of the time, current situation was the current leader when they hit that opening quarter. Let's take a look at how this race shape plays out. Again, quick recap. The E-horses, they're pilots. They want to be on the lead. EPs are pilots or co-pilots. The Ps are co-pilots, but never pilots. PCs are horses that can be co-pilots, or Sometimes they can pilot too, and sometimes they're riding coach, or they really have the most. They have the biggest budget. They're able to do what they want for the most part. Many of them anyway. And the closers, they just ride and coach. They come from the back, try to make their way to the front, sneak in to that first class bathroom. The 2-horse, which did have the most late paces, scratched the 8-horse, which is out here. So this makes it an interesting race shape. Nobody really wants to lead, but as we mentioned, the 1 and the 6, when you look at a little bit more recent numbers, are the 2 that you're going to have to pass. Charles, who do you think will be the one to pass them all when they take the photo?
Yeah, I thought this race overall was very tough. I ended up with the 7 as my first choice here because he has that tactical speed. Because you've got a couple of good speed horses, like we just finished saying. The 1 and the 6 are probably going to go out there in front, possibly the 4. But I think the 7 is the one with tactical speed. You got a hot trainer the last 14 days. The trainer gets 15% when it's 46 plus days off. So you got a fresh horse here to tackle these horses down the lane. My second choice here is the 6. The 6 here has some speed. He adds the blinkers today. You got a hot trainer last 14 days. So I think they're asking a little bit more out of this horse with the blinkers being on, a little bit more focus. And then the 5-horse is my third choice. I had a debate with myself between the 5 and the 1 for the third slot, but the 5 will be closing. He drops in class today, so I gave him a little bit of a nod there. And then the 1-horse, I think, is probably going to be the speed that's going to put his nose out in front. Third after a layoff here, which is my favorite angle. So I think this horse has something to say about this race.
Now you just love how Charles takes my 4 horses and then just jumbles them up a little bit so it's not so obvious.
Yeah.
Right out of the barn, giving Charles a hard time. It's all in good fun, Charles. You know, they say that you only joke with the ones you love, and you notice I never joke with Terry.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, poor Terry.
All right, so for me in the first race, I like the 6-horse in here as my top choice. Pearl Scent showed a little bit better fractions in her last 2 races, and then has 2 nice workouts in between. So a horse that's definitely swinging in the right direction. Number 1, current situation. This one should be better in Charles's favorite handicapping angle of all, the 3rd race off a layoff. And the last time this horse had a 3-race cycle, it won wire to wire. So today, looking like it's going to get the lead and have a chance to rewind and replay that show. Number 5, She Fled the Scene. As you mentioned, this one will be trucking late. This one doesn't like to win, though. Likes to finish in the gimmick on the Gulfstream Park grass. Ran 21 times. Only managed to collect that oversized check once, but does have 7 seconds and 5/3. And finally, number 7, Charles's first choice, my last choice, Mia at Midnight. This one's dropping in class and has a couple of nice workouts between races, getting ready for the return to the track. You don't have any bets, but I'm going to do a 50-cent trifecta with the 1-6, the 1-5-6, the 1-4-5-6, and 7. And then I'm going to $1 double up, the 1-6, the 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7 in race number 2. And in case you're new, we do what we call a $100.
Uh-oh, you froze up. Are you still there? I don't know if he's still there or not. I can't hear him.
I can hear you, Charles. I'm back.
Oh,
I don't know what the hell's going on with my internet lately. I promise you, folks, I'm paying the bill, but for some reason my signal comes in and out, and I have no idea what's going on. And I even have like one of those boosters right there that's supposed to help me. I don't know. Maybe I should get, and I haven't had any good reviews. So if anybody if anybody knows, you know, like that like you go to like T-Mobile and they have that like that mobile 5G one, but I heard it's kind of slow. So if anybody uses it and they have any kind of recommendation or thumbs up or thumbs down, please hit us up in the comment sections or send me an email at gtsrichb@gmail.com, or just shoot me up on Twitter at HRTRich. All right, Charles, let's try race number 2 and see if indeed that internet can make it through this race. 6 furlongs, maiden claiming 35 grand. The purse is $35,000. And at 6 furlongs on the dirt track at Gulfstream Park, you'll find that early speed is the way. In fact, 37% of the horses actually go wire to wire. That's a big number, Charles.
Go ahead.
That's
pretty huge. I mean, that's actually an unheard of number, actually.
Yeah, well, it's pretty big. There's a
Yeah.
slight inside 3 edge and 4 and out, play fair. And if there's an inside 3 edge and wire to wire hits at 37% of the time, boy, a Luna Tuna is one that you'd be Luna Tuna not to perhaps have in your tickets.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, slightly over 61% chance of getting the lead at the quarter pole. And even look at the simulation odds. Definitely an overlay also. So, yeah, this is probably the horse you better have in your pick somewhere, somehow.
You better for sure. And then looking at the way to the winner's circle, does it indeed have some early pace? And it does. The horse typically pressures, though, doesn't usually want to be on the lead, but it's probably going to be on the lead today because this guy has a 7-point advantage when I calculate my early pace over the next closest horse through the opening quarter mile. So it could be as much as a length, six, maybe a length and ahead of everybody else. It's also dropping in class in this maiden claiming affair, which is another thing that I actually think will add a boost to its early ability. Got a trio of first-time starters back here. If you're looking for some horses that have a little bit of late pace, that's going to belong to your horses back in here, the 2 and the 6. I think in this short field, notwithstanding what these guys do with early speed matters, if none of these are really going to jump out of the box in a hurry, it's going to be awfully hard, I think, to run down maybe the 1 or maybe the 5. Charles, what do you say?
Well, I mean, I think it's another one of those races that's kind of tough because some of these first timers, they look pretty tough on paper with their works and how they're bred and everything. But I have them kind of mixed up in my whole picks here. But my number one pick here is the 6 horse. I think it's going to set him up pretty much way his late kick's going to do. He drops in class today. He's got some solid works in him. He adds the blinkers today, and he gets Tyler. So add in the blinkers and have a little time off. Hey, they're trying to just focus him up, and he should get the job done. Yeah, and then first time starter, the 3 is my second choice. Solid works. The Dam has 4 winners from 4 starters, and one of them is a stakes horse. So she throws out quality. And then my third choice here is the 7. This horse has got some solid works in him. Dam has 2 winners from 2 starts, bred very well. And then finally, the 1 horse is my price horse. It's got that tactical speed, which I think now today is going to go to the lead. Drops in class today, back on dirt, and guess what? Third after a layoff, my favorite angle.
And he's all the way in the back. Looks like you have a ton of bets here, Charles. So we have a little bit of time. Grab your pencils and papers, and let's see what Charles is thinking in terms of his budget.
Yeah, first I'm going to start with my pick 4 here. A 50-cent pick 4. I'm taking all 4 of my picks here because, like I said, it's kind of a wide open race. And then I'm going in my second leg, which would be the third race, the 1 and the 2. And then in the fourth race, I had to hit the all button because they scratched like literally half of the field. So that only left like 4 or 5 horses. So I hit the all button there. And then the fifth race, which is my best bet of the day, is a maiden, but it's the 7 horse there.
All right. Well, Charles is going to stake all of his fortune on a first-time starter with that 7. That's
Yeah.
that's brass right there, my friend.
Yeah, and
Unquestionably brass.
then with the trifecta in this race, I'm taking the 3 and the 6 on top, and then I'm putting the 1, 3, 5, 6, 7 in the second spot and the third spot.
Well, the 2 or the 4 is going to get you somewhere in there. You should have put all of. You just left 2 horses out. That always happens. If I leave 1 horse out, I guarantee you that one burns me every single time. All right. The way I see race number 2 is number 1, Luna Tuna, is my top pick. It's got all that early speed, top last race speed figure on top of that. It showed improved fractions the first time this horse tried grass. So it's going to come back, get a little bit of Lasix. I think all that adds up to a horse that's going to be up in the front. You're going to have to pass this one at some point. Number 6, Oma 10 Girl. She can run back to her second career start. I think I agree with Charles, would be an easy winner in here, notwithstanding any improvement from others. Number 3, Riverview Stevie, trainer Joseph Safi Jr. I always confuse his name, and I'm glad I got it right there. It does hit at 24% when debuting at the maiden special weight ranks. Just by far the best number for any trainer popping out a first timer here. And then finally, number 2, Turn On the Charm. I'm going to take a flyer here over the first timer, number 7. This horse was well bet in its debut, and much better fractions it ran in its second race. And then it's going to get some Lasix here and has some good workouts between races. So maybe a little bit of a price in there. I'm going to do a 50-cent pick 3, 1, 2, 3, 6 with the 1, 2, 3, 6 with the 3, 6. And man, I really hope that 2 horse beats my 1 horse unless my 1 horse goes off at 6-1 and get a big price and cash a nice fat pick 3 ticket. That's the idea, right, Charles? Find one ticket that pays for the day.
That's right.
4 worries me a little simply because Ortiz took the mount on a low percent barn. Why? That's a good question on that 4 horse. I was kind of looking at that horse. Why would I get that horse? Maybe he wants to. Oh, that's Jose.
Jose.
Yeah, Jose. I'm going to guess that's probably something to do with his agent, would be my guess.
Be my guess, too.
Because he's just signed a new agent, too, not too long ago. The same one his brother has, I think, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
All right. Race 3 is 6 furlongs, as we're going to do another fast one on the track, claiming 12,500. Non-winners of 3 lifetime. The purse is 24 grand. Again, at 6 furlongs, you want to have a horse that has some early speed because 37% of which go wire to wire. There's a slight inside 3 edge, 4+ out and fair. And boy, golly, if one's going to go wire to wire, it could be a decent price too. It's that maybe Lucky and Wild because that one's going to be loose on the lead.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, basically over almost 84% chance of hitting the quarter pole be on the lead. That's pretty that's pretty good number. I mean, I do believe he's going to be on the lead, but I didn't know it was going to be that much of a percentage. And then you look at those simulation odds. The 1's definitely an overlay here. That's pretty good. Basically even money, and Morning Lion is now saying 5-1.
So if you take that 83.52% and you multiply it by 37%, you come up with a 31% chance that this horse has an opportunity to go wire to wire. So that means at approximately 7-2, which is about where it is right now, that horse is fair odds to go wire to wire. And if it goes 4-1, 5-1, 9-2, something like that, it's an actual underlay. You really have to consider that in your ticket then. Mm-hmm. Crazy numbers. All right, for race number 3, that 3 horse is indeed going to be on the lead, Charles. I don't think there's any question about, minus, something funky happening when the gates open, but all things,
of course,
no problems withstanding. It has a 6-point advantage over the next closest horse all the way through the first half mile. So if it can hang on for 2 furlongs, might actually get the W here. Although a lot of this race is kind of forwardly placed, as you can see. All these horses either want to be pilots or co-pilots. The 2 horse, this one's going to be really patient, I think, and going to try to get the trip it wants and use some late legs perhaps to find its way into the, into contention at the end. Charles, what do you say?
Yeah, and then when I was handicapping this race, it ended up with just 2 horses, I thought. I think it was between the 1 and the 2. The 1 with the little tactical speed, I think he could sit in the catbird seat and finish this one off. But 1 is my first choice here. Ran 3rd last time out. He was claimed last time out. Does move up in class, but that's okay. And then the 2 horse here, 1 last time out, has the tactical seat, but more on the closing side. And the trainer gets 19% overall all the year. And then my 3rd choice in this race is the 5. The 5 won last time out. He's back on dirt today. So I think this one has something to say a little bit about this. And then my price horse here is the 6. Not much of a price horse when it comes to odds, it looks like. But he's dropping in class today. Got that tactical speed. I think he's the one that's going to be pressuring that 3. And he was claimed last time out.
So Melvin Torres joins us today. He's pick 5 at Gulfstream. Is starting in race number 1, 1, 3, 4, 6. 1, 4, 6, 7 with the 1, 4, with the 4, with the 4, 6, and 7. So race 1, 1, 3, 4, 6. Race 2, 1, 4, 6, 7. Race 3, the 1, 4. Race number 4, singling up that 4 horse And then in race number 5, 4, 6, and 7. Good luck, Melvin, with your ticket, and good luck with everybody else's tickets as well. So you did a $5 exacta box here with the 1-2. You think that's it? You didn't have the brass today to go ice cold?
No ice cold because I was battling between which one was going to be my first pick.
Yeah, I guess that's the way to do it for sure. I got the 2 horse in here, Ghostly Night, popped in her first race on the Gulfstream Park Dirt to career best number, which ended up the top last race speed figure. So maybe this is just a horse. If they tried him on other surfaces, they should have just went with dirt from the beginning. Number 3, Maybe Lucky and Wild. This is the one, as we could see, that they're going to have to pass. I really wanted to make it first because of that really strong speed advantage, but trainer Oscar Gonzalez has 1 win in 49 races. You talk about a cold barn, my Lord. Number 1, No Decaf, claimed and going up multiple classes for the 1 horse here, but it is the right distance to make that up moving class because it's been out 4 times, 2 wins, a second and a third. Then finally, number 6, Queen Cupid was a tough call for me over the 4 horse here. The 4 horse is more consistent. So if you like consistency, go with the 4. But I like to see horses that have a lack of consistency. Sometimes they run way up here. Sometimes they run way down here. And you're hoping they get the good version of that horse at a good price. So that's why I went with the 6 over the 4. And everybody has a little different approach to that, Charles. What do you like, more consistency, or do you prefer horses with more upside?
I think it just, I mean, honestly, I think it depends on the class of the race, to be honest with you. Usually your lower class horses tend to see are inconsistent.
Mhm.
When you have upper class, they pretty consistent how they run all the time. So I don't know. It just depends on I guess, the class of the race for me.
Yeah, it's kind of boring all the same all of the time. It's like playing
I know.
golf and putting the ball in the middle of the fairway on the green and 2 putting every time. I mean, it would be
Hmm.
great to take a lot of money from people, but I like hitting out of the trees, trying to avoid the water, yelling 4 at people because the ball's coming at them, 75 degrees to my right. It should be physically impossible, but still endangering other people. All right. Race number 4, 5 furlongs on the all-weather track at 5 furlongs for this claiming $16,000 race with a purse of 32 grand. The Topeka course in this short sprint does favor early speed again. You find, surprisingly, that 34% of these horses go wire to wire. It's pretty interesting. And there is a very slight outside to inside bias. We got a trio of scratches here, Charles, but it doesn't change the fact that the 3 horse in here, Condescending, will be kind of flying.
Yeah, and I had that. Yeah, I believe that 100% that this one's going to have the lead. 87% chance to have the lead at the quarter pole. Really, there's not too many other horses. Maybe the 2, in my opinion, when I was looking at it, the 2 might have, challenged a little bit, but yeah, it's the 3 going to go out there winging. And then when it comes to simulation odds, actually, the 1 is overlay. The 3 is definitely an overlay. A 3 to 1 odds, and the morning line says 12, and it's probably going to go off right around 12 to 1. So, yeah, those 2 right there are probably when it comes to betting, you probably should look at.
So again, looking at that 3 horse with an 87.22% chance to get to the lead times 34% horses that go wire to wire. Again, another horse that is about 30% chance if it gets the lead to go. I mean, when the gates open, 30% chance to go wire to wire, a 30% chance. This is about the right odds right here. So
Yeah,
if it's 7-2 or higher, man, the 3 horse is a value. I think with all the scratches, it won't be 12 to 1, but if you get 6 to 1, 7 to 1, the chance that has a 30% to go wire to wire, it's something you absolutely have to consider. And if you look at our early pace figures over here, you do see that these couple scratches could actually benefit the 3 horse because you have the 6 horse out. The 1 horse out, which was a pressure horse with some late pace. The 8 horse is out, another pressure horse. So that means the 3 and the 6 are the ones that are likely to get to the front. And if they can run comfortable fractions and not like press each other to death, they could have an opportunity to go 1-2 all the way around the track. Though I do think this 2 horse as a pressure horse probably sits right behind him and does have some of the most late legs. Another closer that's out is the 5. So how did the scratches impact your picks here, Charles?
yeah, it did a little bit, but I still ended up with the 6 as my first choice here. This horse drops in class, has some speed, more on the tactical side. He can do what he wants. This horse cuts back in distance, adds Lasix today, and plus gets IRAD. So a lot of things say about the 6. And then the 4 horse is my second choice here. This horse has some of that tactical speed also. Second after a layoff, adds Lasix. And then the speed horse here for me, the 3. This horse adds Lasix today, cuts back in distance, which is makes this horse very dangerous. And then my price horse here today in this race is the 2. Has speed, but adds Lasix today, well bred. And if you go back on my pick 4 in this race, I did hit the all button.
Mm-hmm. So Jesus says, buenas tardes, Jesus, to you as well. Luis, we're not doing Spanish yet. We're working on maybe getting some folks who habla español para caballero picks. I think that's pretty close to what I would say. I don't know. Help me out. How did we do yesterday? Boy, Terry got off to a blazing start. He finished break even for the day. I had just another one of those days where I had a lot of the right numbers, but in my bankroll, I just couldn't put the right combinations together. Race after race, picking some winners, but unfortunately, that's part of solving the puzzle, right? You get the right
Basically, you
horses
were
together.
probably betting trifectas when you should have bet an exacta and so on and so forth.
If I had bet exactas, I would have had a really good day for
Yeah,
sure.
same. Yeah.
And then again, okay, Lista Primera de Gulfstream Park. Yes, we are doing Gulfstream Park today, but I don't know what else you said there. All right, so in race number 4 for me, Charles, you went through your picks already or no?
Yeah, I sure did.
All right, so race number 4 for me, I like Girl By, the 6 horse, just like you do, Charles. 3 consecutive speed figure increases. This horse, this jockey is going to be switched to Irad Ortiz. So I think this should mean a little bit of a better race today. Number 3, Condescending. This horse is likely to be your pace setter. We went through that at odds of 7-2 or higher. Based upon that simulation, the horse has a really good shot, the best chance, I think, in this race to go wire to wire. Number 4, Find Your Passion. Ran the top last race speed figure, improved a little bit in each race, and that trend can continue in the second start off the bench today. And then finally, number 2, Conceptuous. Benefits from all the scratches in here. This horse has a lot of back speed. So I think this is, of the horses that are in there, despite what these things say, I think the 2 horse is the one that's going to try to hug the 3 all the way around the track. I'm going to do a 50-cent trifecta, 3-4-6 with the 3-6 with the 2-3-4-6 and number 7. Race 5 is up next, Charles, for you and I. And that one is a 5 furlong race. It's on the turf. The maiden $84,000 special weight for $84,000. We didn't do any of the early pace figures or the simulation odds because too many horses either one race or no races. So it didn't work out that would be the case. Although I did put together a way to the winner's circle over here for race number 5. The 7 and 8 have shown some early speed, so maybe they can get up front. The 1 is not in this race, nor the 3, the 10, or the 11 of all of these first-time starters. Most everybody that's in the race is staying at the same level, except the 6, which is jumping up a little bit in class here. Then you have the 4, 5, and 9 first-time starters. I think this race, Charles, can go a whole lot of different ways. Which way did you see it going?
Well, I think it's only going to go one way and with one horse. I think the 7. I think this horse is very tough to beat. I think he could find himself on the lead, or he could sit second or third. It doesn't matter. At 5 furlongs, he's going to be close, and you have to be close. And so that's where I see him. He was well bet last time out. He was second last time out, and Danny Garnigan gets 19% when he has a 46 plus days off. So you got a fresh horse, everything here. He's an excellent trainer to do something like that. And then the 4 horse is my second choice here. This horse, excuse me, has solid works, well bred. Todd gets 19% with first timers. And then the 5 horse, another Todd horse, has solid works again. This horse is really bred for grass. That's what he's getting today. And I already told you about Todd's 19% with first timers. And then my price horse here is the 6. The 6 has some speed, it looks like, ran second last time out. So this horse has something to say with it.
And then you have some bets in here, eh?
Yes, I have my win bet on the 7 horse here today. He's my key horse all day in my pick fours, and now in this one I got a dollar pick three, not a 50 cent. I went 7 here all by himself. Then in the next leg, which would be the sixth race, excuse me, I got the 2, 5, 7, and then in the 7th race I have the 1, 4, 6, 7.
All right, so up for me here, I have certain the 6 horse as my top pick, your last pick there. This one showed big improvement in its first race on grass, and then has some really nice workouts since. Number 7, Listen to the Music, ran some similar fractions last time at 6 furlongs as it did at 5.5 furlongs in the previous start, and does have a lot of good works getting ready for this race. Number 4, Assume Nothing, otherwise it makes a you know what. This horse may be the best first-time starter here. Trainer Todd Pletcher and Luis Saez win together, 31%, so a pretty good combination. But I have to say I was not overwhelmed with the workouts. I thought that they were just fair. Number 8, Harry's On the Fly. I think this one's going to be part of the early tempo. I really, really like that Christmas Eve workout of 4 furlongs in 40. I think was it 43? It's got to be 46 and 3. It can't be 43 and 3 because 43 and 3 would be like the horse with that after jets on it. But even still, 4 furlongs and 46 and 3 is cooking. And I was thinking about that 2-horse, Barry, Lieutenant Stan. The one thing that I know it has some early speed, it gets the top rating from Brisnet as their power ranking horse. It is making its second start off a layoff after coming in from Woodbine. It has Tyler Gaffleone, Luis Saez changing. I don't know that there's really much of a difference jockey-wise there. The only thing that it did have a bullet workout between races there, but it ran 4 furlongs in 50 seconds, which was a little bit on the, and that's just a maintenance workout, a little on the slow side for me. But that was my next pick in there, the 2-horse, Charles. What were your thoughts about the 2-horse?
Well, yeah, but I think go back to your jockey switch. I think you're going from a more speed riding type of jockey going to now a jockey that has a little bit more patience, great hands. I think in all, I would rather have Tyler on this type of horse. It looks like he doesn't need to be pushed that much.
So Bob says percentages mean nothing. It's this race only. I agree. This race is each race is its own unique event, just like flipping a coin. I agree with you on that, Bob. But I would suggest to you that if history meant nothing, then there would be no purpose in even having the past performances to look through it to make your picks, right? Just randomly pick horses so you can make.
So is he talking about like maybe the post positions himself, like the percentage of winning?
I think he's talking about when we have the like the speed figures coming up, or the percent of the horse would have the lead. I would say, Bob, if you've watched long enough and you pay attention, you'll find that more often than not, our projection on who's going to have the lead based upon the simulations. Charles, you can attest to this. You could kick me in the if I'm not telling the truth, Charles here, but I'm opening the door for you to slam me. But when you look at our projections and what actually happens on the track, how close do they usually mirror one another?
I would say a 75%, if not 85% chance that he hits almost every time on the percentages of who the leader will be.
And then other questions for you. When we do the simulated odds, there are horses sometimes that we frankly both overlook that when we go back and look at it, and you'll see, case in point, last week when we did Turfway Park, I can remember that 10 horse that got beat at the wire, and we don't know how, by your 11 horse. That was what went off at 31-1.
Yeah.
And the in the simulated odds said the horse should be closer to 3-1. And we still don't know how that horse didn't win that race.
Right. And so I mean, nothing's ever 100%, 100%. Nothing is, but you need something like this to help guide you, especially if you're stuck. Like I think it was a couple races back, I was saying I'm debating between these 2 horses. The race 3, I think it was. It's 2 horses. So if there's something that helps me lean to figure it out, that I'll take everything I can when it comes to handicapping.
Yeah, that's the same with me. The more information you have, the better prepared you are. The better prepared you are, the better decisions you're going to make. The better decisions you make, the less likely you're to blow out your bankroll, right? At least not right
Sure.
away. All right,
Exactly.
so race number 6, and that's why we do all this other work too. To be fair, Bob, we just go through all of these numbers and then we take a mosaic of all the information that we have, and from that we go ahead and we still use our old-fashioned handicapping angles. You hear us talking
Well,
about them, and so it's a little bit of qualitative, so the human element, and then quantitative, the computer element. You marry the two together, and hopefully you can find some more winners.
I mean, he could go back on all these races that we've done so far, and there's a lot of those races. Neither one of us has picked the horse that had the highest percentage. And I mean,
Mhm.
if you look in this next race, the 3 horse, the 60s,
Well, El
67%
Wapo is not in
chance.
this race, so
Oh
I'm
yeah.
taking a break.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You know what El
But
Wapo means?
on, go ahead.
Means Mr. Handsome.
Oh
So
jeez.
I'm out of this race, Charles.
Oh, you're out of this race. That's really nice.
All right,
Um,
Charles. Number 6, race 6, 6.5 furlongs, claiming $12,500 for a purse of 24 grand. This one's on that Gulfstream Park dirt track, and at 6.5 furlongs, there is a tactical speed edge, so not necessarily front burners like the El Wapo would have been. 25%. So far, a quarter of the horses have gone wire to wire. Post positions have been mostly fair. And without El Wapo, never satisfied. Looks like it's going to be the one that has a good shot to get to the front and not give it up.
yeah, I mean, you would have to redo this simulation like we did at Turfway, live. But yes, I think the 5 will be on the lead. Simulation odds, I think it's going to be right about everything should be right where it should be. It looks like so. There's no advantage in the simulation odds.
Yeah, it looks like announcer Peter Aiello got those odds correct. Our way to the winner's circle, get more of our mosaic. Just to give you a sense of how this race shape takes form, this 3-horse coming out of this race, I think, has a significant impact because it was some of the speed is going to be taken out, a lot of the speed. That's going to open a door for the 7-horse and the 5-horse over here, which is my left arrow horse. Typically a closer, but its normal gallop when the gates open is good enough to put it in contention for the lead. Still has some of the most late paced in this bunch of a bunch of closers. So it's the closer that should be in front of all of the closers. If you put together early speed and late speed, the 5-horse has the best combination. So should run the most complete race in here, Charles, but you have it coming in second.
Yeah, with the 3 just being scratched out, I really like the 7 a little bit more now because I think this horse is going to have a little bit easier time on the front end. So it's going to make him a little bit more dangerous. So this horse drops in class today. He cuts back in distance. The trainer gets 31% when he goes from turf to dirt. Um, I think that's an excellent percentage. Um, and that's another thing we could use percentage on. I think you need angles like that to know
Mhm.
what's hot and what's not.
Well, I
But
actually
I
think
do.
there's been some research done, and I forget by who, but Chris Parmalu was telling me all about some some gentleman did some research on the data and found that number is 15%. So if you're looking for angles in the past performances, anything up to 15% or better is something you should focus on because those angles tend to hit more than those that are, well, of course, they're going to hit more than something hits at 14, but 15 is like that cutoff point where you start to see some what they call alpha.
So basically, yeah, that's when you should start looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. And I agree with that. I mean, I like it when it's like higher double digits like this, 30 some percent. That's almost a third of the time, That's awesome. The 5 horse is my second choice though. This horse also drops in class today, back on dirt. Trainer gets 27% when he drops him down 2 classes or more. So there's an angle there that you got to look out for. The 2 horse is my third choice here. This horse ran third last time out, second after a layoff for this horse. So this horse is going to be a little dangerous. And then the price horse here for me, the 4, he also drops in class today, cuts back in distance, and has a little bit of that tactical speed too. But this horse is going to be right there at the end.
So Gene says race 6. Why don't you like the 4? We both like the 4, just a few horses a little bit more. I like the 5 horse in here. That is that left arrow horse. I do think that this pace setup works out perfectly for the 5 horse, dropping multiple classes as well. So facing easier. And Charles, your favorite angle, third off the bench. I just think that scratch of that 3 and the fact that the other horse in here with some speed should be right behind him. Number 2, Cajun Bayou, first off the claim. It's a winner of 4 out of 13 for the trainer and did tie for the top last race speed figure. Number 7, Moped Dennis. Off. This is another one to tie for the top last race speed figure. And trainer Jeremiah Engelhardt does win at 24% the second time off the bench with a horse. So looking for some improvement from Moped or Moped Dennis, Mop Dennis. I'm not quite sure. Number 4, Federal Exchange, the one that you're asking about. This one is dropping in class. Definitely looks better than the rest. I just feel like particularly that 5 horse is going to have the best trip in this race, especially since when you look, they're all a bunch of closers in here. So the 4 horse, the 5 horse actually should be in front of the 4, has just the same amount of late pace, maybe a little bit more. And it'll make it, I think, in a race that's probably not going to have a ton of early speed. The fractions will probably be pretty light. I think it'll make it difficult for the horses in the back to pass the horses in the front if they're all running kind of slowish. So they're walking to the gates for race number 1. Let's see. Do we have time? I think we have a little bit of time to go through race number 7. Charles, what do you think?
Yeah,
you think we hustle it
so.
up? All right. So in race number 7, let's pop to race number 7. Race number 7 is, hold on one second, Charles. Maybe we don't because I'm all delayed out here. Race number 7. All right, there we go. Got everything laid out. Race 7, 1 mile, optional claiming $25,000. Non-winners of 1. Purse is $86,000 at 1 mile. The kind of horse that typically win has early speed. 28% of the time, that early speed horse goes wire to wire. That's the case today. Fresia di Artino will be the one that either that or truancy, which I had a lot of in high school.
Yeah, especially with the 3 being scratched, you would have had to redo this whole thing. But yeah, those 2 horses probably be the ones that would go to the front. I think the 6 might have a little bit to say about that too. But when it comes to simulation odds, let me see. It looks like the 5 horse here. Yeah, it's the one that's a little bit overlay slightly, and then even the 7 horse slightly. So those would be your 2 price horses to look at.
So they're loaded for race number 1. Here are our picks for race number 1. I have a trifecta with the 1-6, with the 1-5-6, 1-4-5-6, and 7. Right now, the 1 is 5-2. The 6 is 2-1. And then here's a chance right away, Bob, to see if those percentages play to form, because it says the 1, the 5, and the 4 should be your pace setters, particularly the 1. So let's see if it works out that way. And then out of the gates they come. And it looks like the 7 has decided to engage a little bit early today. So it's going to be the 1 is on the lead, as we thought it might be, but not by much. That 7 is definitely trying. But I think that 7 is going to maybe regret that early pace right there, because he's going to go a little wide through that turn.
About 4 wide. Easy.
Yeah, and it looks like, yeah. So you never know. That's kind of tough to do to me.
Look at the 1's ears. Look at the 1's ears.
Pressed forward, right?
They're pacing forward. 9 times out of 10, that means the horse is very relaxed.
So as they come through that opening quarter, let's see what the time is. You got the 1 on the lead, followed by the 7. The 5 is on the rail to the inside. I can't tell who's on the outside. It looks to me like the 6. So the 6 is in 4th place right now as they come down. But it's pretty tightly packed group of horses right here. It looks to me like there's maybe 3 lengths from front to back. They haven't really posted any time, so I don't know if they're going too fast or too slow. So I don't know what's going on down there in South Florida. People are on vacation today. Charles, your 7 and the 1 continue to battle up front. The question is, who's got horse for the end? It looks like the 6 horse is not going to be the one that has horse to the end, because he's tailed off to the back. So let's see if you got some horse splitting up in the middle there. A horse on the outside.
5 is on the outside.
Yeah, the 5 has decided to get on the outside. So it looks like it's going to be a battle between the 1 and the 5, but the 5 is really blasting off. So it's going to be the 5 horse, 5-3-1, it looks like to me, Charles. So interesting to note that in that opening leg, Closers took the lead and won at Gulfstream Park on the grass.
And it was easy, 5-3-1.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me about that, Charles, is that They didn't show the fractions anywhere, so you had no idea how fast they were running.
I don't know how fast they were going.
Nah, me either. Who do you have in race number 1? Race number 1, we had the 7, 6, 5, and 1, and then I had the 6, 1, 5, and 7. So neither one of us had the
3.
The 3 horse. Yes, indeed. Which came out of it came flying at the end there. But if you look, you talk about numbers.
Simulation odds.
10-1 morning line, 4-2. It looks like it's showing off around 4-1. So there was some value in that 3 horse there. And that's the thing, putting all this information together to try to put it together in a winning ticket. All right, so for race number 7, Charles, let's go back to where we were so we can close everything out. In race number 7, the way to the winner's circle worksheet looks a little bit like this. The 3 horses scratched out. Then you have the 6 horse and your 2 horse, your likely pace setters. Again, a race here where you have almost all of your horses, except for one, that either want to press for the lead or beyond the lead. That could set up very nicely back here for this lone closer. The 5 horse has the most late speed. And if you put together the entirety of the race, it is the most complete horse from beginning to end. Charles, in race number 7, tell us how you lay it out.
I left the 5 out. Probably going to regret it, but I just thought it was going to be all these speed horses, and especially with that one, the 3 horse being scratched. I really like the 6 here. He's my first choice here. I think he will have the lead. He ran second last time out. Trainer gets 11% at 46 plus days off. You got a fresh horse, solid works. So this horse is going to be fresh and ready to go. The 4 horse here won last time out. You get the Irad and Brown combo. I think that's enough said right there, right? This horse likes this distance. And then the 1 horse ran second last time out and has some speed to stay with these horses. Trainer gets 20% with 46 plus days off, and plus this horse cuts back. And then the 7 horse is my price horse. This horse ran second last time out, drops in class today. Trainer gets 12% with the 46 plus days off, and solid work. So you got a lot of fresh horses in this race. Maybe I am going to regret the 5, but that's how I see it right now, those 4 horses.
So we're not doing Parx today, Wilker Jimenez. If you want to get Parx picks, there's a link down below to guaranteed tip sheet. Go ahead and hit that, because I know that we've handicapped that sharply for today, because I took good part of that handicapping. So you can get that link down below. So make sure you check that out. And if you're going to go to guaranteed tip sheet today, you also find out that we'll stick out in Florida. Tampa Bay Downs is the free track. In the first race, Kenya Sun, the 6 horse, is the top pick. Again, there is a link down in the description below. Head on over to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Check out all of our picks today for Parx and for Tampa Bay Downs. I like in race number 7, my top choice here is going to be Classy Edition, which was what happened to our show when we brought Charles aboard. This one has the top last race speed figure. It is dropping in class. Won her first 3 races, all of them pretty easily. The next 2 were a little bit of a struggle. So maybe the horse got tired, went to the barn. So let's see if it can get back to the winner's circle, especially since it's got all that speed to run down and should get a nice trip here. Number 4, Signal from Noise, had a huge bump in performance in the second career start. As you mentioned, Irad Ortiz and Chad Brown, they're teaming up on this race. It has a lot of good workouts in between races. Number 1, Truancy. This horse been out 4 times, 2 wins, 2 seconds. Really good about that. Was the favorite last time out and got beat. Interestingly, trainer Barkley Tag doesn't seem like he has a lot of favorites, but the last 10 times he had a favorite that went out and didn't win, 6 of them came back to win the next race. You talked about 30% being a number. 60%, even though it's a small sample size, is just flat ridiculous, Charles.
Yeah. And it just means he's on top of it. He knows when the horse is hot and ready to rock and roll.
When they bring him back, yeah.
Yep.
Number 6, Olga Isabel, has plenty of early speed, bullet and go. So that last workout before coming back to the track as the horse gets ready to return to work is a sign that the horse is fit, firm, and ready to run, and it's running at a distance that it's done before and actually got a win. I'm going to do 50-cent try, 1, 4, 5 over the 4, 5 over the 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Do we go over our bets back here? I had a 50-cent pick 4 in race number 5. I don't think I 6. I don't think I did that. I'm going to single that 5 in that race. And then the 1, 4, 5, 6 with the 1, 2, 3, 7 with the 2, 4, 5, and 8 to close out the card. So I'm hoping, like your 7 horse, that is key to a lot of your bets, that 5 horse can come through for me. All right, Charles, race number 8 is what we're going to talk about next. And race number 8, I got all these different buttons to press. I forget which one goes where, Charles. Race 8, 7.5 furlongs. Now, we just saw a mile and a 16th on the grass, and we saw closers come back and win that race, and the speed kind of tailed off a little bit. This one's an optional claiming 32,000. The purse is 35 grand. Much like we saw in that first race at 7.5 furlongs, stalkers and closers do win at this distance, but weirdly, almost 30% of them have gone wire to wire. So either be in the front or be in the back. Don't be in the middle. I think that's the moral of the story. You do have inside 3 horses that tend to do a little bit better than 4 and out. In fact, 4 and out perform a little bit below par. So it looks like you should have the 1, the 2, and the 3 in your mix. And if you're looking for speed, Abuse of Power is going to show a lot of it.
Yes, 66%. And I do believe that horse is going to be out in front. But I do believe myself personally, I think the 4 is going to challenge him pretty good. But it kind of shows that a little bit there on the odds also. So the 4 is the second choice of getting the lead at the quarter pole. So about 18%. But yeah, the 2 is high, 66%. Then when it comes to simulation odds, the 4 is a good overlay right there. He's supposed to be just slightly over 4-1, and you got morning line of 8, so that looks pretty good. And I think that will be it. The 8, you got slightly over 10-1, almost 11-1, and it's got 20-1 morning line.
Yeah, if you just look at the simulated odds, the one message I take from this is that this race is wide open. Because you don't really see a horse that's dominating all of the other ones in there. So I agree with that assessment that it is pretty much wide open. In race number 8, we do have a race shape that is kind of balanced. Most of the horses want to be middle and back. So maybe that favors a little bit of the early speed, which is probably going to belong to the 5 horse because he is a pilot, co-pilot type. But once again, we see back here a left arrow horse, the 2 horse, which has won its races in the past by closing, does have enough early speed to move forward today. And this number here is borderline getting to where almost a must bet that has a plus when you look at early pace and late pace, 7 points more than anybody else. When they start hitting double digits, there was one yesterday that was double digits. And I mentioned that whenever they're double digits, you almost always have to bet them in your tickets predominantly to win, but they usually do show up in the money. And the 8 horse yesterday that was a double digit type did win. So keep an eye out for that number, folks, when you're doing your handicapping. It's one I've created, but you can create it yourself just by looking at early pace and late pace and then figuring out which combination of the numbers you want to use to create your score. Charles, you created some picks for this race. Tell us who they are.
Yeah, definitely the 2's in it. Here's another race that I could not make up my mind between 2 horses, which is the 4 and 2. I ended up with the 4 in front as the first place horse. Horse has some speed, cuts back in distance, and my favorite angle, 3rd after a layoff. That's the only reasons right there is put him on in front of the 2. The 2 is my second choice here. This horse drops in class. You get IRAD. This horse has that tactical speed, so doesn't have. I mean, the chart here says it should be going to the front. I think he's going to be going. They're head and head with the 4, 2nd after a layoff. And then I have the 1 as my 3rd choice here. Ran 2nd last time out, 2nd after a layoff for this horse. The trainer gets 23%, 2nd after a claim. So that's another great angle. And then my price horse here is the 7, drops in class today, cuts back in distance today, but this horse will be closing. The question is he going to have enough time to close in on him?
Is he going to have that juice when he needs it? All right, in race number 8, Abuse of Power is my left arrow horse. It does have that big early pace, late pace advantage over the rest of the field. I do think it's going to have a tactical trip. There should be no excuses for the 2 horse. I feel like this is the one to beat. Number 3, Smart Spending, 2nd off the bench. according to its resume, should look a lot like the first one off the bench. And picking the right distance, too. 9 times out, 3 wins, 2 seconds in the third. Number 1, Midnight Bella. This horse is really not, I think, like a length and a half from maybe winning 4 races in a row. Trainer Safi Joseph Jr. putting this horse out for the second start after a layoff. Does hit 23% when doing so. The horse has walked up the speed ladder the last 3 races. And finally, I agree with you. Number 7, Starship Malamar, which is the morning line favorite, I think. My 4th choice here. It is a very consistent performer. We talked a little earlier about horses that have some variance. And in this race, which I think is a little higher caliber race, you can see this horse always performs very well. In fact, last time ran the top last race speed figure, and then it's combining that with a move down in class today. I like that combination. I'm going to do a 50-cent trifecta 2-3 with the 1-2-3, with the 1-2-3-4-7, trying to take advantage of that inside 3 bias. Charles, and you're going to do the exacta box, right?
Yeah, I'm doing a $10 exacta box with my 2 top horses. I think it's between those 2 myself personally.
All right. So the final race of the day is race number 9, 5.5 furlongs. This one's on the all-weather track. 5.5. This one, again, way too many horses that either are making their first time start or horses with only 1 start, which really screws up the math because you can't divide by 0. So you get all these errors. It is a maiden claiming 25,000 for a purse of 32 grand. The 5.5 furlong all-weather track favors horses that have early speed or tactical speed. So you probably don't want to be the one on front, although 26% have gone wire to wire. Post positions 1 through 7 play fair. I think that's exactly how many we have today. If there was an 8 and out, it would get a bonus in here. I felt like when I looked through this card, Charles, that of the 7 horses that were left, you probably can make a case for all 7 of them to win.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely. This was a tough race, but then again, it's a maiden, so maiden should be tough, be honest with you.
Yeah, the maiden claiming, especially over here. All right, finally, our last way to the winner's circle worksheet pace. You can see the down arrows. The 1 horse is out. The 7 horse, the first-time starter, is out. So of the horses that are left that are dropping in class here, which I think in the maiden races is one key thing to focus on, leaves you with the 3, the 6, and the 8 of these horses. The 5 horse has the most late pace. The 3 and the 6 should be close to the front. Again, if you look at this race, there's really doesn't look like one, aside from dropping a class, has an advantage over the other. So how did you decide on who you decided on?
Well, I have all 3 of those droppers, and I like droppers when it comes to maidens. But the 2 horse, I think, has just the right enough stuff there, the speed and everything. This horse ran 4th last time, but it only got beat by a length and a quarter. This horse drops in class. 3rd after a layoff, adds the Lasix. So I think the 2 will edge them out. But you know what? Those other 3 horses that are, like we said, are all droppers too. So the 8 drops in class, adds the Lasix. This trainer gets 35% going from straight maiden to a maiden claiming. That's a great angle.
Yeah, that's the best number in the bunch. I think.
That's a great number. The 6 horse, like we said, drops, but adds blinkers and Lasix today. This horse has that little bit tactical speed, so it could probably be a little closer. And then my price horse here would be the 3. Another one that adds the blinkers and the Lasix. Trainer gets 50% when he drops the horse down 2 levels or more. And that's what you're getting here today. So with that all being said, to me, it's a crapshoot.
So in race number 2, Gene is asking, do you guys like the 1 in race number 2? Great thing about this, we can go back. I actually have the 1 on top, and Charles has him as the 4th pick. So one of us, we do like him. So we'll see how that works out. 1 race, number 5. Ira 5, number 5. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's who won that first race, the 5 horse. Indeed. We had him as the 3rd pick. I think both of us had him as the 3rd pick, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we did. We both had him as our 3rd pick. Yeah, in the mix. I think it went 5, 3, and 1, I think is how that race went. All right, so let's see how I think race number 9 is going to go. I like in race number 9, the 8 horse, Colonel Cappy, as you mentioned. Trainer Joseph, I knew I'd screw it up. Safi Joseph Jr. You talked about the horse dropping from maiden special weight to maiden claiming. He's done it 79 times, won 28 of them. So it'd be one thing if he did it 10 times and won 3 of them. But to do it from 79 and have 28 come home winners, that's a pretty good data set. And if you look at that December 22nd work, 4 furlongs was really good workout too. So I think having IRAD on this horse, it's fit, it's firm, it's ready to go off that drop. It's probably going to get bet down too. I don't see it going off at 4-1, Charles.
No, I don't either.
Number 2, Midnight Getaway. This one's been close in its last 2 races. I think 2 races that go it actually won and then got disqualified. It did run the top last race. Speed figure last time, I think, as you said, 4th, but it's dropping in class here. And maybe the 3rd time, your classic handicapping angle gets it done. 5 horse, Avatar Hero, trainer Jose D'Angelo, wins 28% of the time when he brings a horse around the track the first time after making a claim. And since he's claimed that horse, he's put 13 furlongs work in that horse, most of which are 3 or 4. I think 3 of them were 3 furlongs and 1 of them was 4 furlongs. That tells me that they're going to send Avatar Hero to the front today with all those short workouts, Charles. Being a trainer, do you see that the same way when you put all those short works into a horse?
Yeah, when you put short works in a horse, yeah, you're like gearing them up for speed, to pop the gate or whatever. Yes, exactly.
And then I'm going to finally finish it up with Mexico Coffee, but it's Mexico Coffee. Was a tough call for me over that 3 horse that you liked with Tyler Gaffalione in the irons. But trainer Efren Loza Jr. doesn't win a whole lot of races, but when he puts him in maiden claiming, he's won 13 out of 32. And that 4 horse at 10-1 could be the second or longest price on the board. And a first-time starter, so you don't know what this horse is going to bring to the table. And maybe it'll shock us, be the winner. I'm going to do a 50-cent try to close the show, 258 with the 28, with the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. And if you like what you saw on the show, head on over to, there's a link down in the description below too for our shop, Horse Racing Today gear. This is the hoodie. It's very comfortable. The hat. You'll look fantastic, almost as good as Charles, though I don't know that we can offer you anything to make you look as handsome as Charles.
You can't.
No, you can't. It's not possible.
The way it is.
Yes, they broke the mold, as they say.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to play some college basketball now that college football is over, or hockey, our good friend, Professor Sides, link down below, putting his statistics hat to work to find some winners with high probabilities. So there's a link down below to catch that. Again, our full card picks today for Gulfstream Park looks just like this. Charles, any thoughts today before we get out of here?
No, I mean, basically overall, I think it's a wide open day. There's a couple of races there's a couple of key horses, but nothing like super outstanding that you can't wait to see. But it's going to be a good race day, and you should have some decent prices today, I think.
Mm-hmm. Again, if you're down in Gulfstream area, I think on Saturday, February the 4th, I think that's a Saturday, I'll be at Gulfstream. And then on the 1st of February, we'll be at Tampa Bay Downs. So if you're in the area, please make sure you stop by, say hello. Let's see, that November. So he's talking about Scary Creation, Say Milena, the 9 horse in that last race has some scary, sneaky fast. November 22nd, Gulfstream Park, 46 fastest 12. That is pretty good. October 29th, Gulfstream Park, 4 furlongs, 47, third fastest of 134. So make sure you add that one to your tickets today too, folks. I don't know if we both missed those workouts, Charles.
Well, I mean, like I've always said to you a million times, I don't look at the times itself overall. I want to see consistency the between works, if it's every 7 or every 8 or 9 days.
Indeed. So that's your experience as a trainer who took horses to the track and found a few of them in the winner's circle. Again, here are our full picks for the day at Gulfstream Park. We certainly hope that everybody has good luck on this hump day. Charles and I will be back tomorrow. We'll take our craft to Aqueduct. I won't be here on Friday. I'm actually going to go down to one of these Hawthorne like OTBs and participate in a handicapping contest, try to earn my way to Las Vegas. So if you're out there, cross your fingers for me, say a prayer for me so that I can come back on Saturday. If we're not here Saturday, it means I didn't qualify on Friday. So again, prayers up, thumbs up, whatever it takes to get me across that finish line. I greatly appreciate it. And then we'll be back on Monday, Terry and I, for Parx. Again, tonight, make sure you join Sean and Julie as they are going to talk to TJ Aguirre, young trainer on the upswing with great hair for sure. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, Charles?
No, the weather's starting to change again. It looks like it. So everyone be safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow. I have a feeling Aqueduct will have some weather up there.
Well, yeah, it's New York in the middle of the winter. Anything could happen. So I certainly hope anything can happen on the track. And when anything happens in a big way at a big price, we hope you have it. And that no matter what you're doing today, whether you're in nice, warm, sunny Florida, South Florida, or you're in kind of warm Chicago today and anywhere in between, we hope your horses and your day end up in
the winner's circle.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to joining you tomorrow as we try to find some winners at Aqueduct.
All right. See ya.